Hello, Mrs. Nyquist here. I teach second grade at Los Altos, Grace. It's good to have you here. Second graders, what's great about them? The thing that I love the most about them is they are like little sponges. They absorb everything that they're learning and they want to learn more. They have an excitement for life, they have spunk, and it's just a lot of fun to teach them. My second grade class in particular this year has a heart for the homeless. They were so excited to collect socks for the homeless. It had nothing to do with pizza or winning a prize. They just wanted to give the homeless socks so that they would be warm in the wintertime. There's another thing that's special about this class, but I'm going to get to that in a minute. I'm going to go over some of the work that they've done this year, starting with September. The very first day of school, I talked to them about their feelings. When they get up in the morning in second grade, how are you feeling? Were you scared? Were you excited? And then we go throughout the day. Now how am I feeling? After lunch, at the end of the day. And then they wrote little paragraphs about their first day of second grade, and they made emojis to go with those. The next writing assignment was a letter that went to Mrs. Martin. We talked about how to be ready for school, how to be responsible, and how to be respectful. And then they wrote letters to Mrs. Martin telling them how they were going to be respectful, responsible, and ready for school. We also talked about Johnny Appleseed, and they worked in groups to make little posters about different parts of Johnny Appleseed's life. Then it was October, and we read a book called Stella Luna, which was about a little fruit bat that got lost from her mother. And we talked about beginning, middle, and end, and then they had to tell the feelings of Stella Luna during that time. We also read a cute book called Frankenstein about a boy who was grumpy all day because he just had a horrible day. And so the kids decided they wanted to write a story. And they told about how they woke up in the morning and it was just a horrible day, and they turned into Frankenstein, and then they created their own little Frankenstein creatures. We also read about monsters, and they created their own monster puppet and then wrote stories about their monster on the back of their puppet. That's what those are about. For science, we studied plants and how a plant grows, starting with the seed all the way to getting their roots, and some plants grow flowers. And then they made their plant showing the roots and the stem and the leaves, and that all plants need water and sunshine and some sort of a soil to grow, and so they created those. It was autumn or fall, and so we created acrostic poems with the word autumn's leaves, and that's what this is. We also were able to visit the Newport Sea Base, where they got to ride on a boat. They got to see sea otters, no, not sea otters, sorry, sea lions, and just they had a great time. They also created their own boats where they got to race them, and that was fun for them. It started to get windy, so we decided we would talk about kites, and they pretended they were a kite, and they created a story where they floated all over, and they told what happened to them at the beginning, middle, and end of the story. Then it was Thanksgiving time, so we talked about being thankful, and they created turkeys and wrote on the feathers the different things they were thankful for. Okay, now this is the other part of my class that I love. This has to do with Bible trivia. They love reading the Bible, they love learning Bible stories, and at the end of November, I decided to create a trivia game. So they played against each other, had so much fun. They know more of the Bible than most adults know. And when it came to Christmas time, we had to decorate the office wall. And so they decided they wanted to give trivia questions. So they created a present, each of them with a question on it, and the answer is behind there so that the people could guess what the answer to that trivia question was. We've learned about fact and opinion. They wrote their own facts and opinions about pizzas. And we read a story called Cinderella and another one called Rough-Faced Girls, so they learned how to compare and contrast and what similarities were between those. January came and they created a snowman. We learned about similes using like and as, and they created a story about a silly snowman simile story. Now don't try to say that 10 times fast. In March we had Dr. Seuss Day, or it was called Camp Read a Lot, and we celebrated. The whole room was decorated as a campground, and they went from station to station, and they told about their camp memories during that time. And we had a marble party, and so that the kids would not realize that we were actually learning, they brought stuffed animals, and we created a graph to tell how many of each animal the children had. And so they did math, but they didn't know they were doing math. We've also studied symmetry in math, and half of this was given to them, and they had to create the other half to show the symmetry. So on the owl, and then half of the butterfly was there, and Scarlett created the other side of the butterfly. Inside the Outdoors is a program where the scientists come and do a particular lesson with each of the grade levels. Second grade learned about birds, and so they got to see different birds and talk about the bones of the birds. Some bones are hollow so the birds can fly, some are not hollow. And then they told about their favorite part about Inside the Outdoors. We were learning about goods and services, how it's important for people in our community to help us, and how they help us is the goods that they give to us. So they created a chart first about that, and then we went on 2 different field trips. We went to In-N-Out, and then we went to Chick-fil-A, and this is a picture of their favorite part of Chick-fil-A. They were able to get ice cream from the ice cream machine and make it themselves, and they thought that was the greatest part. So most of them said that was good. Some of the others said it was really fun going in the freezer because they got frozen. Now, this class in particular, I said they have big hearts. I think the thing I miss the most about, okay, I don't want to get teary here. The thing I miss the most about you guys is your hugs. Every morning, you guys would be all wiggly in line. Oh, we can't stay in line, can't stay in line. And I'd say, come on, come give me a hug. And you guys would all give me hugs. I missed out a lot. The other thing I miss is, can't get through this, your singing. When you sing when you're happy, you guys, I would play music in the classroom, and just hearing you guys sing, oh man, I didn't want to do this. I miss you guys.